Zach Moss, Devin Singletary, or both? That's going to be the question that I need to answer today. We've got Buffalo heading to Kansas City and a whopping 56.5 point over under. Kansas City is favored by 3. So injury report is squeaky clean for both teams. I mean, we have a questionable for Tywan Jones, questionable for Marquez Stevenson, not players that you are going to be worried about. We are on FanDuel today. So we're giving FanDuel some love. We've been working on DraftKings the first 5 weeks. I just wanted to show that we have FanDuel, we have Yahoo, and we have DraftKings over at RunTheSims.com. I started on Yahoo for the first time 2 weeks ago, and I have found some success there. There's some smaller tournaments that I enjoy playing in, so definitely try out Yahoo. I think they have a sign up bonus over there. You can just take your $10 and go try to make some money using Run the Sims. Let's head over to our optimal results. The first thing I want to point out is that Josh Allen up here is being utilized 40% of the time in the winning lineup in the captain spot. And that is a whopping 12% more than Patrick Mahomes. So, what that really works out well for us is that the Bills players are going to be less owned than the Kansas City Chiefs players. So, if you're putting your quarterback at captain, which you will be doing with Josh Allen, then you're obviously going to have less owned players as stacks in his offense. So Emmanuel Sanders, Devin Singletary, Zach Moss, Dawson Knox even are probably going to come in with a reasonable amount less ownership than the Kansas City Chiefs players if you had Patrick Mahomes in captain. And you're also not really certain how much involvement we're going to get from Josh Gordon. So if you could maybe miss that just a little bit without having Patrick Mahomes in captain, because of course, if you take Patrick Mahomes in captain, you're probably not going to be able to fit in Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill, at least not viably. So that's going to leave you with Byron Pringle, Mecole Hardman, Josh Gordon, perhaps. The list goes on of ancillary pieces that you're going to have to take in the Kansas City offense and just hope that they get there. Darrell Williams, Marcus Robinson. So that being said, instead of and hitting on the ancillary piece in the Kansas City offense is always that's whoever hits on the ancillary piece in the Kansas City offense is usually the winner. But in this case, on FanDuel, with Josh Allen appearing in captain so much more often than Patrick Mahomes, you could just simply stack Josh Allen with 3 or 4 pieces of his offense and just run it back with whoever is going to have a big game at the Kansas City offense. Of course, last week, Tyreek Hill had the 50 burger. 2 weeks before that, we had 26, 27 points from Travis Kelce. A few slates ago when Kansas City played against the Browns, I played that slate. It was a 1 o'clock game. It just felt like a good game to try to get some action on. And the winning lineup was Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill with no Patrick Mahomes. So if enough of the offense goes through Travis Kelce, goes through Tyreek Hill, both of them are 25 to 30% market share kind of guys, then you don't necessarily need Patrick Mahomes. And perhaps Josh Allen's playing catch up at that point. Or you could play for the 2 touchdown Clyde Edwards-Helaire game and then run it back with 4 Buffalo Bills. So those options are all open to you just because Josh Allen is appearing in captain so incredibly often that he just sets everything up beautifully for the rest of your lineups. If you go down a little bit, Travis Kelce is only appearing in captain 8% of the time. Tyreek Hill is matching him 8% of the time. Clyde Edwards-Helaire only 5% of the time. Stefon Diggs is the last player really worth mentioning at 4.5% of the time. I guess you could go down to Zach Moss. So the question earlier was, are we going with Zach Moss or we're going with Devin Singletary? We're going with both because their workloads have kind of been switching. At the beginning of the year, it seemed as though Zach Moss might have been in the doghouse, or more so banged up. And I think it was more the latter. I think that Zach Moss was just banged up, and that's why Devin Singletary was getting such a large workload. However, it flipped the script a little because Devin Singletary looked really good with his few extra touches that he was getting without Zach Moss involved. So we're at a point in the season where we're not sure if it's Zach Moss's backfield or Devin Singletary's backfield going forward. My favorite way to get contrarian on Showdown personally is playing 2 backs in an offense. I just think people don't like to do it. I think people even filter it out on some sites. So I like to put both backs in and just get slightly more contrarian. I mean, it's not like nobody is doing it, but any tiny edge you can get in terms of ownership, you have to do it. So it is a good week for me to say maybe stack your Josh Allen and whatever ancillary piece like Emmanuel Sanders maybe, and then your Zach Moss, your Devin Singletary, and run it back with a Chiefs player. Pick your favorite Chiefs player this week and run it back with them. So that's certainly an option. Let's talk about a hot topic with Dawson Knox. He's appearing in 12% of the lineups as a flex, only 0.1% at captain. So you're not going to be rostering him there. But 12% is not too enticing, especially since he's going to be a popular play. We don't have ownership yet. I'm recording on Saturday night. So when you get ownership, I'm almost going to guarantee that his ownership is going to be higher than the 12% that he's appearing. Not gonna quite guarantee it, but I'm pretty sure that's something that you should check out because his popularity recently, he's been running really hot. It's probably a decent fade this week. We also have Mecole Hardman appearing in only 20% of the lineups. That's the same as Darrell Williams. That's the same as Devin Singletary. And Darrell Williams is actually cheaper, and Darrell Williams is probably going to be less owned. So I would probably swap any lineups that I had Mecole Hardman. I might just swap right over to Darrell Williams instead. So let's go over and look at some of our custom lineups before we build. So the most frequency, I love when this happens. The most frequency is 36 times. These two lineups appeared in as the optimal lineup out of 10,000 simulations. The first one is Josh Allen in the MVP spot. I know I kept saying captain. It's the MVP spot. Josh Allen in the MVP spot. Devin Singletary, Cole Beasley, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Stefon Diggs. So you're playing that CEH 2-touchdown game, and the Bills trying to catch up. The next highest is Josh Allen, MVP, Clyde Edwards-Helaire again, Stefon Diggs, Emmanuel Sanders, Zach Moss. So you've got a Devin Singletary lineup, you've got a Zach Moss lineup. It's really up to you. I mean, I would even go as far as to say if you've got a lean on how that backfield's going to sort out going forward, go over to your inputs and change the market share for either Zach Moss and Devin Singletary and give them more touches. And then you're going to get more optimal lineups that have those players in them. So if you think that you have a good read on Devin Singletary leading the backfield and you don't want any Zach Moss, I wouldn't go back and zero it out because that's going to skew the entire game. But you could go add 5% to Devin Singletary and take 5% away from Zach Moss. We have our first Patrick Mahomes lineup appearing in a frequency of 33 times. That's Patrick Mahomes, MVP, Tyreek Hill, Emmanuel Sanders, Mecole Hardman, and Travis Kelce. So that's wonderful because you get to fit Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, something that you're going to want to do. And even getting Emmanuel Sanders in there is fantastic. One thing I would say is I'm not positive that I'm going to do this yet, but if I decide that I'm not going to play any Mecole Hardman, which I might, I would just swap this over to Darrell Williams, leave the salary on the table, and just get a little bit more contrarian. We don't have some ownership over here, but this is where you're going to look when you do have the ownership. You're going to look over here to see what the total ownership is. And you're going to, well, with Fanduel, it's a little different, but on DraftKings, I like to stay around the 160 to 170 range before I'll even play it. If you get in the 180, 190, even up to 200, you're going to be duplicated a ton of times. And it depends on the tournament that you're playing in. I've gotten into a lot more smaller field stuff where you're not getting duplicated quite as much. People are playing a little bit tighter, but there's just not as many people. So I've found more success over on the small field stuff. Let me bring Fanduel over here. So we'll go ahead and build a lineup. I want Josh Allen captain, and I'm probably going to have quite a bit of Josh Allen at captain. I think that Clyde Edwards-Helaire we'll call them the big three. I think that CEH is going to be the least owned between Hill, Kelce, and I think that he fits well with the game script. And then I wanted to go with Devin Singletary. I think he's just 1,000 cheaper, and I think that the backfield's going to be a pretty even split. And purposely skipping out on Diggs here, so the Diggs Allen stack is going to obviously be incredibly popular. Go down to Emmanuel Sanders. He's too cheap at 9K. And then you have 14, so you get to pick, do you want your Travis Hill or the Tyreek Hill or Travis Kelce? Or, I mean, you could still do Stefon Diggs here and you're running a 4x1 and you're leaving 1,500 on the table. Totally fine with that. I think what I would do is go 3x2 here. And I'm going to go with probably Tyreek Hill. So in this lineup, 56.5 point over under, there's obviously going to be a lot of throwing going on. Josh Allen captain, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Devin Singletary, Emmanuel Sanders, and Tyreek Hill. Let's go ahead and make another one. That's going to be with Patrick Mahomes. and you're going to just have to pick between Tyreek Hill or Travis Kelce. You could do both, of course, but to build, I guess, a little bit of a better lineup or a more balanced lineup, I'm going to go with Tyreek Hill. And then I actually want to try to put Stefon Diggs into this lineup. So now we're going to have to go down a little. I'm going to go Darrell Williams. I'm going to skip out on Dawson Knox for sure. And then we have one more, and it's 10,000. So probably Devin Singletary works for me. So it's basically the exact same thing we did on the other side of the ball. Just flip to the other side. You got Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Stefon Diggs, Darrell Williams, and Devin Singletary. So that's going to do it for tonight. There's just a few things that we need to look at. One is going to be how much usage that we're going to get from Josh Gordon, and that's something to look at throughout the day. So there's going to be something that leaks probably from, your Adam Schefter or something that's going to say that Josh Gordon's going to be sprinkled in, or Josh Gordon is maybe declared inactive this week, but he should be playing. And there also might be that we're going to try to get him, even if we're lucky, maybe a certain amount of touches. I don't know, but those ancillary pieces are the key to winning on these Chiefs slates, especially with the 56.5 point over under. So many different players are going to be scoring. So with so many different players scoring, you're going to need to figure out, is Demarcus Robinson going to be the guy? Byron Pringle going to be the guy? Is it Mecole Hardman week? That's what I would look into during your Sunday. And of course, good luck on the main slate. And also don't forget that you have the Jets Atlanta game that you can use Run the Sims to do that showdown at 9:30 a.m. So if you want to start your action early, go over to Run the Sims and do the showdown slate for the 9:30 a.m. London game on Sunday morning. That's all from me. Have a good one. Peace.